Yeah, I just got done cleaning the garage again. I don't know how many times I've had to rearrange and move things around in here so I could work. If I ever do this again, I'm not moving in until the house is done because all my shop space has been gone for months now. So the plan here is this bay is 40 feet long, and this is usually where the camper is parked. You can see it way out there, out by the south field. So that's where I'm going to build the trusses at. Some ideas: I'm going to lay out 3/4 plywood, pin it all together. I've already drawn everything up to know exactly how many different pieces and things that I need for gussets. I'm going to do wood gussets on most everything. This is 19/32 or pretty close to 5/8. This is what we used on the forms for the concrete. The other side is clean, so that I could make sure that the glue and everything sticks. These are ones we didn't use. I'll get these cut up and get some templates made, and then hope I'll be ready to rock and roll. My 2x4s should get delivered Monday, probably Monday morning or Monday afternoon. I'm not really sure when they'll get here. My goal is that tomorrow I'll start cutting all that stuff up and then run to Home Depot because they were actually cheaper on plywood than they were on the 2x4s. And through my research, I found that you have to use plywood for your gussets. You can't use OSB or like the zip sheeting, stuff like that, which I kind of did when we built everything else. The overhang, that 6-foot overhang soffit area, I reinforced that with a whole bunch of scraps that we had laying around of the zip sheeting. I can only expect that it'll be fine. I think what the issue is that over time, if it's exposed to moisture, things like that, it could possibly weaken. The plywood won't. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm going to do plywood like they suggested. And then I've got some metal gussets for some of the smaller pieces. Typically when a truss is made, they're put in a press and everything is just squeezed together with thousands of pounds of pressure and everything. And I know you can do them with a hammer, but I've heard not to do that too. So I'm going to do wood gussets. Now I got this all cleaned up and ready to go. But we'll see. I've never built trusses before, so it'll be interesting. Something new. One thing about this house has been fun to build. I'm doing a lot of things I've never done. Never done solar before. Never done rainwater collection before. Never built anything this big before. Have never done ERV. Never done mini splits. Never put in windows that big. Just all sorts of stuff. I've never done something this big pretty much by myself. I mean, Barry's been helping. Natalie helps a little bit here and there. But for the most part, I'm tackling it all. About 85%, let's say. The framing out there, I did all the framing. Barry cut some pieces of wood for me, and then he started having some health issues, so he's out for a good 6 to 8 weeks, and which will put the building the trusses, erecting the trusses, sheathing everything, and maybe even putting the windows in all on myself, and I'll get Natalie to help where I can. So yeah, quick update. I'll start rolling on this tomorrow. Just got back from Home Depot and had them cut up a bunch of wood for me. So all those, I got 17 4x8 sheets and had them cut everything down so I can start cutting them into my gussets. I will tell you, this is definitely not the cheaper way to go as far as gussets are. A gusset is or a mending plate is what's going to hold the trusses together where the boards come together at. So in doing it in this method, I got to use a lot of nails. I got to glue everything as well, and I'm putting plates on both sides. The little metal mending plates, they're not overly expensive. The bigger you get, of course, the more expensive they are. But between all this wood and the adhesive and the nails, breaking it down per piece, I am slightly more expensive than just the metal ones. But I have to do all the labor now to cut them all up and get them all the right size and all that fun stuff, which I've drafted it out. I know exactly what I need here. You can see my layout here. So what we did is we cut these in the strips that I need, and then I will cut them in the other direction. And I've already got some cut here, so these are for the peaks. That's my bottom plate, and I got them labeled. So that's A4, A2 template is over there still. But it's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of cutting. Luckily Home Depot did the hard part for me and cut all the long stuff. Kid who helped me was great. The first guy was not great, he was horrible. He complained the whole time and cut 2 boards, and then the other kid came up and was like, you can do it faster this way. He got mad and left, which was actually good because the kid who came along listened to my suggestions, had his own thoughts, and we flew through cutting the rest of them. Sometimes you get a good associate, sometimes they're just awful. So I haven't eaten all day. It's about 3 o'clock. I got coffee in me, that's about it. So I'm gonna go get a bite and then start cutting these up. Well, I got all my gussets cut. That was a lot of cutting. Hope I didn't bite off more than I could chew here, because I'm just looking at the stacks and piles I have now and thinking that each one of these gussets represents at least 2 boards touching it. So that's 210 right there. And then these are my ends. There's 64, then there's some up there, and I don't know, 48 or something else. So that whole shelving unit is full, and all those there on the ground. But I'm out of wood now, and so as long as I didn't screw anything up in my calculations, I should have all the pieces and parts that I need except for the 2x4s, which should be coming tomorrow. And then I've got another full day, at least a full day of just cutting those to the angles and sides and things that I needed. And then I've got to build my structure here on the floor. Again, I'm going to do 3/4 flooring, which I couldn't get today because I couldn't fit it in my truck. So I got to get that in the morning. So I'm going to lay 3/4 flooring down on the floor, pin it all together, and then put my blocks on top of that to build a jig to build the trusses on. Had to buy shorter nails so that when I shoot through the gusset on one side and then I shoot through the other side, the nail doesn't go all the way through. So that was that 200 and some bucks for the nails. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but I bought an extra 2,000 just in case. I got 6,000 nails, and honestly, I really hope that's enough, because each one of these boards, you got to basically nail the crap out of it. I got 24 tubes of construction adhesive. I don't know. I think all I'm missing now is my 2x4s. Like I said, I'll get those tomorrow, and then I hope I can start assembling trusses, you know, in 2 or 3 days, and then by next week can be putting them up. That'd be awesome. I got a long day or more of cutting in front of me. Hope I didn't. Hope this works. Well, today's the day I'm not quite looking forward to. I gotta cut all those pieces for my trusses. I was waiting for lumber yesterday, so I went ahead and got started on sheeting. And yesterday I got everything, basically the whole first course around except for this side. And then this morning I went ahead and did the second course on the part that I was in the shade with. It's not overly hot, but I don't want to be in the sun anyway, so finish this side. Then this evening when the sun gets on the other direction, I'll move over to the back 2 walls there. I may have screwed up here because I was thinking I I don't know if we're going to foam or use what do you call it, mineral, or not mineral wool, rock wool, or what we're going to do yet for insulation. I know we had issues with the foam last time. I may go with a different company, or I may learn from my mistakes last time and do better this time when I order it. But I put this piece up and I'm thinking, I don't know how they're going to foam down in there now. So I'm hoping if we do foam that they can just, you know, stick their gun down in there, fill the void, because my original plan was to leave this off and they would just spray against the storm shelter. So I may have messed that up, but I'm sure it'll get fixed one way or another. One thing I find is pretty cool too is you can see the difference in the color of the sheeting there. So that's how much it's faded over the, what, about 2 years we've had the these zip sheathing on there, and it's just crazy. And still, you know, this is dry, that's still gooey. You know, the darker pink stuff is gooey where it's lighter at, so all this is still really rubbery and malleable. And even this dry stuff, you put your finger across, you can feel that it's still got some stick to it. So I've been really impressed with that. Was it a Proseco R Force or Flex? I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But that stuff worked really great. So this room's taking shape. Like I said, this evening I'll go ahead and get the finish the second round of sheeting on there. Another reason I want to get that up right away is so my boards don't warp. This one right there was warped on. It's a horrible place to warp at, right in the window, but I was able to get it straightened out. One over here warped on me, and a couple of them bowed, you know, this way or that way. It's pushed them back straight before I nailed the sheeting on. But sitting out here in the hot and cold, it really started to make those warp a little bit. So the next task, oh, and the AC system, I'm trying to order another mini split if they can find it. They may have discontinued, I don't know. So I got my 3/4 flooring laid out, and then this one I'm going to build my trusses on. So the idea is that my brackets can screw straight down onto this and create a template for me. And there's all my lumber. So I've got a ton of cuts to do. I'm going to be cutting all day pretty much, just the same thing over and over and over again. I'll probably make a template like I did with the gussets, and then slap it together and see how well it goes. I may do one truss, see how well that goes. I gotta do the end truss first and then do all the other ones. I'm gonna start in the living room side and work towards the house. Hope I can get that sheeted and then taped and everything before we get any potential rain. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of cuts. It's gonna be a long couple days. Okay, I got the first one ready to go. I'm about ready to nail and screw everything together here. It went together pretty good. The template I made worked out great. I did have to run a string line down the top of the trusses to make sure that my boards weren't warped at all. And I'm glad I did that, because it turns out that one side was warped about 3/8 of an inch. The wood I got's not the best. It's number 2, but it seems to be a little wavy. Anyways, this one's looking pretty good, and that string line really straightened everything out. This is the side that I had to straighten, so I ran a string line from, you know, point A to point B way down there. Could see that it actually bowed out, so I pushed it in and then put my blocks in to hold it where it needs to be. And that's got everything looking pretty darn good. I'm at the point now I'm going to go ahead and nail in the gussets. Now, in these I'm using the metal gussets, except for where it joins here on the ends. I believe up here I've got a wooden gusset that I made the other day. That's just because it's more of a point that needs to be locked in really good. So the point of doing a jig and make sure everything is done exactly the same is so when it goes up on the roof, everything looks the same, and you have to make sure all your trusses face the same directions. So all my trusses line up on the west side, so I'll probably put a little daub of spray paint on this side, and then what that will do is every truss that has a spray paint, that end will go to the west. And the reason why I do that is, even though you've made a jig or a template, it could be off, you know, 1/8 of an inch here, 1/8 of an inch there, and if you get one of your trusses flipped around, then as you look down your roof, it'll hit that one that's backwards and it'll dip, or it will bump up. either way. And the same thing if you get them from a factory. When they deliver them and they lay them down, you put them up exactly how they're laid down, because if you get one backwards, it could really mess you up. Probably a good idea if you ever order them, they come in a big stack, is to just take a spray can and just shoot all the way down one side. That way you know that those sides line up. So I'm going to do something similar here. And I was trying to figure out how to get these out of here once I build them. So I've got 17, well, I've got one of these and then 17 more trusses to do with the webbing in the middle. So I'm going to lay those, build it. I'm going to lay it over here, build it, lay it over, build it, lay it over. It'll have a stack. And then I'm going to come to the door with the skid steer and the crane arm and hope I can just pick them all up and then back straight out, take them over to where I'm building at. And I should hopefully work out pretty easy. Maybe I'll just pick them straight up onto the roof, which would be great. But I'm going to get this one nailed down. Once it's nailed down, I can go ahead and put some blocks on the inside and then get my webbing cut. And it's going to get really monotonous. Just doing this took quite a while. And there was actually some variation because I was cutting something different for the most part. Once I get into doing the webbing, it's going to be so repetitious, it's going to get pretty boring. So my plan is to do the first 17 and then take those out, get them on the roof. Actually, I gotta put the beam up first. So I may do that in the morning after I finish this sheathing. I got a lot to do. But anyways, I'm going to try and break this up. This is going to get so old sitting in here cutting all these. But all my wood's sitting outside, so that's another issue, is that the longer it sits out there, the more it could warp. So I'll have to play it by ear if I'm going to spend all day building trusses or spend all day outside. I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet. But looking good, getting there. Well, now we'll see how easy it comes out of the jig. Oh, look at that. Like I planned it. Alright, now I gotta put those metal gussets on the back side and then I can start on the next one. Boy, that's an arm workout. Gonna have Popeye arms when I'm done with this. Ran into a little bit of a technical difficulty in my calculations. I screwed up. So on the end one where my seam is right here was 19 feet 8 inches, and for some reason I just transposed that onto the inside trusses, which put this seam down there. And when I cut it, I realized something wasn't right. Went upstairs, reran the calculations on AutoCAD and found out that I had not moved that dimension. I just copied it from that one. So that throws me off a little bit. I had to go buy 17 10-foot 2x4s from Home Depot just now so I could get back to work. But I got back, got all put back together here, and this is the webbing. So I might ask where I got the dimensions from this at. Just doing research online, I actually found there were several free online places that will give you a very basic layout of your trusses. So they give you basic specs of it. I printed that out. Then I redrew it in AutoCAD to get my dimensions for all my cuts and things like that. The basic rule of thumb on 2x4 trusses is not to have any support space more than 9 feet 4 inches, I believe it is, apart. And this fits that bill. Usually you can find your midpoints and just shuffle things around to get within that. But I wanted to make sure that I had some sort of backup, not just my guessing, but have an actual company do them. So did that free online tool. They gave me basically engineered specs. I just had to redraw it. So the specs they give you isn't enough to just do it. You have to put some more thought into it. So I redrew everything, and here's where I'm at now. But I've got everything pinned down and all my put these little 2x4 pieces in there. So the next one I do lines up exactly the same. I'm gonna have to cut more of this webbing because I want to keep, 2 of these as my templates, and then just start. Then I could, cut things fairly fast. The long pieces aren't too hard, and those pieces aren't too hard, but the inside ones have several cuts each. And basically, how it turns out. There's where my measurement was wrong. I had to go back in and redo them. But you can see all these extra cuts and stuff on those. So I made a template, and I tried it, and it did work. But I know I'm 40 degrees on one cut, 37 degrees on another cut, and then the final one I just hold it because it's longer. I'll just hold it in here and cut it, and it works pretty good. So hope I can start making some headway now because it's been all day and I haven't even built 2 trusses yet. I did get some sheeting up or some sheathing up, but eager to get back to work on this. Well, I got 3 of them done now. This is taking a heck of a lot longer than I hoped it would. I knew it was going to take time, but man, this is killer. I haven't really kept track of how long it's taken me to do each one, but I'm guessing probably 30 minutes at least. I got 3 done. I want to do at least 17. I guess it'd be 18 with the end one. At least I got a system down now anyways. I can cut fairly quickly. It lays down pretty quick. And just got to make sure everything's lined up right. And then the nailing. I'm glad I'm going back and forth and didn't cut everything at once because, boy, it's killer on the back. Just bending over and shooting nails like crazy. Plus it gives my compressor a chance to rest a little bit in the nail gun. So I got 3. Quite a few more to go. Maybe I'll start videoing again in a couple days when I have more to show than just building trusses. Well, it's next morning. I got 4 trusses done. I had 1 all ready to go. I lined up last night. And then I got up a little bit earlier and knocked out that side of the wall and the south side, all that side. A little strip at the top because we did 8'6" walls. I'll use the scraps. It's kind of a nice thing about using or having that extra 6 inches because cut out all the windows and things like that. It gives me a place to put those scraps at. But Back to doing trusses. Hopefully I can get a decent amount done today. I don't know. Slow going so far. I'm not going to record a lot of it because it's just monotonous, same thing over and over and over again. I tried to line up these the best I could, and they don't look bad. I'll have to see when we get them up, you know, how well they're, how straight they actually are. I got a little concerned when I was putting this, actually this one and the one before it, because I'm starting to develop this gap right there. And I'm going to redo my template. It could just be that this is cut a little wrong. So I'm going to redo the template, and hopefully that's the only issue. And then my blocks, I had to go down and put a few more screws in them, because as I pull the truss off, it cranks on those blocks a little bit. And so I noticed a couple of them coming loose. But I just add an extra couple screws to those, and I think they're pretty well locked in now. Well, I just got back from Home Depot because I ran out of nails. I knew I was going to run out of caulking, so I bought more caulking. They didn't have any nails, so I ordered some on Amazon. Turns out they're like $12 cheaper on Amazon. They'll be here on Friday. I was going to order them through Home Depot, and of course it'd be more expensive, and I wouldn't get them until next Friday, I think, or next Wednesday maybe. And Home Depot's kind of iffy. Sometimes their stuff comes in, sometimes it doesn't. So I accomplished everything except for one. So there's all the trusses for over the living room except for the last one. And I've got the pieces sitting right there for it, but I don't have any nails. And I ran out of nails right here on the center plate, so I've still got 3 more gussets to do on here. And then the last one. But the baby's going to have to wait until Friday now, so I can get some more nails and get back to work. But my pile's getting a little lower, a little bit down. At least all the 16 footers are gone here. There were 20 footers out there that are gone. And then of course I rearranged some stuff over on this side for the other trusses. So at least that's getting a little bit better. But I was really hoping to get all these done. Just can't do it. So what I can work on is the beam. I can get the 6x6 posts mounted, and actually I'm short. They didn't have 5, I'm short 5 of them, but I can get the posts in enough to do from the living room around to the end of the dining room. And I can also start, well, I guess I can't start building any trusses. See, I can start building the mono trusses that go along over the dining room without any nails. So, what am I gonna do? Stuck.